You fine? As you can see, I'm dressed as the White Rabbit today, in the spirit of Macmillan's Alice in Wonderland 150 years anniversary, which of course this short story competition is inspired by. And what a selection we have of entries, a really high standard. And this is for the category of 12 years and under. I have a winner and 4 runners-up and their stories to read to you today. I hope you enjoy them. Shall we begin? Let's. First, before we start, congratulations to all of the winners and finalists in our competition. And that thought is also extended to anyone who picked up a pen or typed on a keyboard a story for this competition. Well done all. But here we have our winner of this year's competition, winning Wonderlands. It's Yevgeny Mihailov. Well done, Yevgeny, for your story, Alice on the Cheese Planet. And congratulations, and your prizes will be winging their way to you. Well deserved, and here is your story. Alice on the Cheese Planet. It was a very difficult day. Alice was so tired after her adventures, and she wanted to sleep and forget about all unusual situations of that day. Alice put on her pajamas, took her teddy bear, switched off the light and went to sleep immediately. In her dream, she was flying among the stars and suddenly appeared on an unknown planet. To her great surprise, the planet was yellow and made from cheese with a lot of holes on it. Alice felt that she was hungry. She tried to eat the cheese, and it was very tasty. But at that very moment, a great number of cats appeared in front of her. Alice was shocked, because they went on foot, using only their 2 legs. The cats went as if they were people. Alice couldn't believe her eyes. It was so strange for her. "Hello, dear girl," cats greeted Alice. "We are glad to see you. What is your name?" "Hi, I'm glad to see you too. My name is Alice." "You are cats, and how can you speak people's language?" Alice asked. "Many, many years ago, we lived on another planet and had lots of friends. They were boys and girls and studied at school. Children went to school every day, but we didn't want to stay alone at home and asked our friends to take us with them. They took us, and we stayed at the lessons, listened and repeated everything after the teacher and children. So we soon began to speak people's language," answered one of the biggest and the oldest cat. "But how it happened that you live now on this planet?" Alice asked. "It was so difficult for us to keep silence at the lessons, and the teachers became angry with us. Once the headmaster of the school came at the lesson and asked us to leave the school for all. We were very offended, so we left the school. We left our friends and soon found a new planet. Really, our planet. Planet from cheese," answered the cats. "Oh, I haven't known about this planet. I think that everything is okay now. Do you like this planet?" Alice asked the little kittens. "Yes, we like our life there very much. But mice have heard about our tasty cheese planet and make their houses there. They have already eaten mountains of cheese and don't want to stop. Holes in the cheese are bigger and bigger. We are afraid that soon the end of our planet will come. We can't catch these mice because they are very big and fat now, bigger and fatter than we are. We don't know what to do," one cat said. "Alice, maybe you can help us," asked the grey cat. "I want to help you very much, but I don't know how I can help. Maybe I should hide and watch these mice," Alice answered. Alice asked the cats to switch on the lights. The cats were very surprised and said that they didn't switch on the light at all because they were afraid of us to see mice. So Alice had to stay with the cats without any lights. It was not pleasant, and she was a little afraid too. The night came. Suddenly, Alice heard the noise. She understood that a great number of mice appeared from their houses, came up to her legs, and she was so shocked that she began to cry. Alice started to switch on all the lights at the planet, and with the lights, the mice began to fall into the holes in the cheese and disappear. It was great. Alice understood that mice didn't like the lights and were afraid of them, but the cats didn't know about it, and because of it, they couldn't stop mice. "Oh, you're a great girl. It was so easy to solve the problem. But we can't guess that the lights can help us. Now we'll use all the lights every day and every night. Our planet will be our house for all our life." "Thank you very much," shouted the cats. "Oh, you are welcome to our planet at any time. We are glad to see you," said the kittens. Alice was very happy that she could help the cats. They thanked her so much and presented her a slice of cheese. Suddenly everything began to move around her. Cats, stars, planets. After some time, Alice opened her eyes, found herself in her room, on her bed. She understood that it was only her dream. She liked that dream. But Alice was happy to see herself at home, because she didn't like mice, and was even very afraid of them. She smiled, rose her hands, and oh! A little slice of cheese was in her left hand. Well done, Evgeny. That's fantastic. I really enjoyed reading that story. I hope you enjoyed listening. Fantastic. Well done. Now we come on to one of the runners-up in the competition. There are 4 of them, and they received prizes too. Here we have, in no particular order. Well done, Peter. That's fantastic. Giraffes Milk is a terrific story, and I'd like to share that with you now. Ready, everyone? Good. Once I went for a walk. There was nobody in the yard, and I was bored, but suddenly I saw a blue chalk on the ground. Probably somebody had lost it. I picked it up and started drawing. I decided to draw a dragon near its house with a beautiful handle. It seemed the handle became real, and I tried to pull it. To my surprise, the door opened. I happened to be inside the dragon's house. All furniture was bigger than that in Human's house. Instead, the table there was a huge stone block with a plain upper part. There was a giant silver cup and a huge hexangular aquarium on it. Several little fluffy kittens were swimming in the aquarium. Suddenly the floor creaked and the dragon came inside. It was exactly like I had drawn, all violet-colored with a long orange tail. He was holding a flying fish on a leash. The fish flew at me in a wink and began to smell me round. I was totally shocked. That second the dragon called me in a kind voice and sat me on the pentagonal commode. "Hello," said the dragon. "Hello," I answered. "Where am I?" The dragon told me that I had found not just a simple chalk. It was a chalk that opened the doors to different magic lands. "Do you want some milk?" "Yes, thank you," I said. The dragon gave me a glass with some turquoise-colored fluid in it. "Are you sure this is milk?" I marveled. "Yes, a perfect giraffe's milk. The giraffes live in the lake not far from here." "In the lake? But what do they eat there? Maybe some water grass?" "No, the kittens eat the water grass, and the giraffes like the moon roads. If you want to see them, go on the red road and don't turn it off." I thanked the dragon and stepped out of the house. "Stop! Do you have any candies with you?" shouted the dragon. "No, I don't." "That's fine. There are many caramel donkeys near the lake. If they get wind of candies, they would chase you until you gave them all the sweets you have." I went towards the lake. The trees, the grass, the bushes, the flowers around me were multicolored. The conifer trees were red, and the pine trees were purple. I couldn't even believe my eyes. Suddenly I saw something orange flow over me, and it fell down on the ground. There was some kind of flying tennis ball with a beak. Firstly, I was scared, but when the ball began to grunt and lumber from leg to leg, I smiled and quietly laughed. The road went through the forest. By the road, some kind of curling grass grew on the ground, and many little green bushes with yellow, blue-spotted berries on it. Somehow I didn't want to taste those berries. There was a grand crystal bridge afar. By the way, I felt a very well-known scent, and it became stronger and stronger as I approached to the bridge. The smell came from a crimson river that crossed the road. I dipped out some crimson water and found out that it was the sweetest raspberry juice I'd ever tasted. Several white frogs slid on the water, and I thought, what a wonderful view! But I had no time to stop. I had to go further, following my red road to the lake. I crossed the river, and all at once it became hot in the air. I raised my head and saw the second sun had appeared in the sky. It was very quiet all around. That got my attention, and I ran to the shadow under the tree that resembled a birch. I lay down and fell asleep for some time. I was woken up by some tickling on my nose. It was a little ant. When I opened my eyes, it quacked in fear and galloped away like a grasshopper. I saw there was one sun in the sky again, and the forest was refilled by multitudinous voices and sounds. I continued my trip. My way was full of surprises. One moment, I saw a blue rabbit with a spring tail that raced nearby. All over the grass there were the mushrooms that grew upside down. Finally, I reached a spacious meadow. There was a great oak and some donkeys peacefully grazing nearby. I understood that they were the donkeys that the dragon had told me about before. Those donkeys of a toffee colour came closer to me, hoping I had some sweeties in my pockets. They nuzzled my legs for a while, then went back under the oak. It became dark, and I ran towards the lake, not to miss anything. I sat on a big stone there and began to wait. 3 moons appeared in the dark sky, and at the same moment 3 moon roads lay down on the lake surface. Suddenly, one white giraffe's head came into view from under the water. After a while, there were 4 more heads. I saw the giraffes eating the moon roads in a daze. It was an eye-catching performance. That second, I deeply got homesick. I thought to myself for a moment and decided to break the chalk. I did it, and in the same moment, I found myself near my sweet home. I sighed with relief and ran home full of joy and happiness. Well done, Peter. I really enjoyed reading that story too. I hope you enjoyed listening to it. Our next runner-up and our next story, Lisa in the Wonderland of Music. Well done, Elisabetta. That's fantastic. I hope you enjoy this reading, everyone. It was at the break of dawn. Lisa woke up, and in her window she saw an apple tree in the distance. The apples looked so flavorful and ripe. The girl wanted to pick an apple and eat it. She got up and ran to the apple tree. Lisa tried to pick the most beautiful apple, but instead of it she rolled down and fell in an unusual pit. It was dark there, but suddenly some faint lights began appearing. Somebody was lightening up the music. It was as if many small sticks were performing some splendid rhythm. And then the music poured. It was so beautiful that Lisa looked down at her feet to check if she was swimming along with this melody. She was. The girl did her best to see better everything around her. The first she saw was a string bow family consisting of 5 members: viola daddy, cello mummy, contrabass granny, and 2 cute violin daughters. Suddenly, Lisa saw a beautiful young man who was flying too. What a charming prince, Lisa thought. Yeah, I am charming, but I'm not a prince. I'm the stave, the young man corrected her. And who are you, young lady? I'm Lisa. How did you get here? The stave asked. I wanted to pick an apple, but instead I fell in a crack. That's not a crack, the young man corrected her again. This is an orchestra pit, and you're not here by mistake. Perhaps music is your life. It is. I'm a student of a music school, learning the cello and the piano, the girl said proudly. Well done, young lady. The young man was delighted. I'm so glad I'm in such a wonderful land, and I'd like to learn more about it. Great, I'll show you around with pleasure, if you don't mind. And so they flew. Almost immediately they saw a strange lady. She was glorious and very beautiful. She was wearing a magic cloak consisting of 47 strings. She was a fairy harp. She smiled mysteriously and nodded to Lisa. This lady's character is a great secret for everyone, the stave said, but Lisa wasn't listening to him. She was examining other fascinating dwellers of the Wonderland. And who are they? Lisa asked. Xylophone and bassoon. They're very friendly and do everything together. The bassoon is very old. He's from a different country. Not everyone understands him talking. He's very low. Some people call him proud. The others call him tender. But he's very rich and has a vast experience of music making in different salons, palaces and concert halls. As for Xylophone, we call him Sounding Wood. He's got a strong and brave character. He's very merry, but he's difficult to be controlled. He's got a very obstinate character. Suddenly Lisa heard a very beautiful sound. The girl rushed to the sound and hit a thin, cute and slender lady. She was in a hurry. This is where I heard the beautiful sound from, Lisa thought. This lady was quickly walking along the piano way, playing the marvelous melody with her feet. Lisa even gasped. The girl wanted to follow her, but suddenly the lady disappeared, and only her silver, gentle, clean voice lingered in Lisa's heart. Lisa looked around and saw that the stave was still there. I thought she was singing in English, Lisa said. Oh yes, this lady always speaks with people the same language, the stave confirmed. Suddenly, some snail-like instrument, wrapped in a shiny coat, glowed and sparkled in rays of little lights, bulged his chest and sang at his full power. This is horns, the stave announced. All instruments, father. Pipe is the mother. Tuba is the grandpa. All that was really exciting. But Lisa had to go home, because her mum was about to look for her. The stave headed to the apple tree, but suddenly stopped. I forgot to tell you about the stringbow family. Oh, I saw them. There are 5 of them. Viola Daddy seems to be the head of the family. Yeah, that's right. He's very accurate, and he always wants everything to be correct, and everybody listens to him. Cello Mummy has a very low voice, and she sparkles in music so masterfully that I love her most of all. She's very kind, charming, and she always knows how to surprise everybody around her. Violin daughters are very thin, and if you need to embellish something, they always have some beautiful tones in store. Contrabass Granny is very big, and her voice is very low. Granny's very smart, and she always invents something new. At the sound of the contrabass, everyone's heart is likely to skip a beat. The stave described them all with deep admire and respect. Suddenly Lisa saw the Queen. The girl ran straight to her. Are you the Queen of the orchestra? Lisa asked. I didn't recognize you. Your Majesty Cello. I want to be a queen too. Could you tell me how to become a queen? Dear Lisa, said the Queen, soon you'll become it. How do you know my name? I know everyone who plays the instruments. Besides, you play the cello. And now, sweetheart, you should go home. I don't want to leave you. We will meet every time you touch the strings with your bow. The bow is a key which will open the doors to the wonderland of music. Suddenly, Lisa woke up. She had a bow in her hands. Well done. I enjoyed that one thoroughly. I hope you did too. Let's move on now to another runner-up. Ah, yes, The Flying Islands. Well done, Nikita. Fantastic story. Let me share it with you all now. It happened when I, Professor Gumrun, was going on an expedition to Antarctic. But our ship went upon a huge iceberg and started to sink. It was going down so quickly that it was useless to cry for help. We even didn't have time to jump into the safe boats. In no time we were all in icy water. I closed my eyes, started to pray so desperately that I began to feel safe and warm. I lost the sense of time. When I opened my eyes, I saw that I was driven ashore of an island, and surprisingly, the water was warm. The water and the sand were purple. In the distance, I saw a grove and decided to go there. When I came nearer, I saw trees that were completely unlike those known to me. Their trunks were twisted and the roots were swaying in the air. The leaves were blue and looked like plates. Some of the trees had fruit. The sun was bright and I wondered what time it was, and put my hand into my pocket, trying to find my watch. I took it out and heard a voice saying, 12:48, lunchtime. I was surprised. There was no one there. Who talked to me? I walked through the trees and accidentally touched the trunk of a tree and heard a voice again. It's, could you please pick that fruit from me? It's so heavy. I immediately saw a big fruit that hung on the branch of the tree. Hardly had I touched the fruit when I heard another voice. Would you like to eat me? I'm very tasty. I realized that on this island, things start to talk when you touch them. I'm so wet, please dry me. I picked the fruit and ate it. That was me having touched my boot and hearing its voice. I picked the fruit and ate it. As it promised, it was gorgeous. I felt so much better. I felt so much energy that I could fly. I touched the tree and said, thank you, it was delicious. The tree answered, have some more, whenever you want. What to do next was a question that bothered me. Suddenly, I was hit by something in the back of my head and fainted. In a while, I woke up by a fire. My hands and legs were tied with strong ropes. By the fire, a group of jungle animals were discussing what to do with me. Seeing that I had woken up, a white lion came up to me. He touched me with his paw and asked me who I was. I told him my story. Ah, you're on a flying island, he said. Have you ever heard that such islands exist? Quite a few around. One is a desert, another is a moor, and ours is a jungle. He made a sign to a spider monkey, and it untied me. We didn't know if you were dangerous, so we tied you. I think you understand that humans are not always good to animals. Many of my people have never seen humans. You are the first man who has ever been here, and I'm glad that you came. You see, we didn't need to speak. We could understand each other anyway. Now even things can talk. I find it very interesting. It's a great step forward. How and why am I here? Am I dead? I interrupted him. Oh, no, you're not dead, no. When I first saw you, you prayed so devoutly that maybe someone high above decided to send us to help you, so we landed and took you up. Don't think it's us who decide where to land and who to take up, you see. I don't have to hunt here, so I have a lot of free time, and I've been here long enough to understand that our island is like a little planet. It is round and it flies over Earth. Not very high. We call it an island because when we land on Earth, we become one for a short while. You may have noticed that our water is purple. It's because it weighs much less than the water you have on Earth. How did you get here? I asked. A long time ago, I lived in a jungle in Africa with my mum. Your people were moving deeper into the jungle, building their mines, villages, and towns. Very soon there was so little space left for us that we had no other choice than to disappear. But we also prayed in our way, and one day we woke up in purple waters, very much like yourself. Have you seen other flying islands? Of course. How do you think I know that they exist and what they are like? Can I see them too? Only if you choose never to return to Earth. You see, we eat fruit that grow on our trees, and this food makes us lighter. We look the same as earthy animals, but in fact, we weigh less than a feather. If you chose to stay, you must eat those fruits only, and soon you'll be like us. But you'll never be able to return to Earth. You simply will not gravitate. Earlier, we didn't know that, so we had no choice. The fruits were the only food, so we ate them and came very light, Now I know the effect the fruit makes. What if I chose to return? Well, just don't touch the fruit. But I have already had one. The white lion looked puzzled. Well, I suddenly felt dizzy, then very hot and dry. I fainted again. Then I heard a voice. Professor Gumran? Professor Gumran? My name is Dr. Scorpion. You are on the flying island called Desert. Well done, Nikita. Superb. Thank you ever so much. Right then, now, moving on to our final runner-up. I hope everyone's enjoying these stories. It's nice to be read to. I'm enjoying reading them. Aha! Yes, Elizabeth, well done. My Wonderland. Here we go, everyone. Last one. Hello. My name is Lisa. I'm 11. I'm an ordinary girl. I live in an ordinary city and study at an ordinary school. Everything is ordinary around me, but sometimes it happens that I wake up. It is because I dream too much. Sometimes the chest with fantasies in my head are overfilled and they spill out of it and I find myself in Wonderland. Now I'm going to tell you how it happened last time. I woke up not from the alarm clock, but because of my fish. They clamoured very loudly in the aquarium, which was on the chest of drawers near my bed. When we were buying the fish, the shop assistant told us that there was a lot of noise from them and offered us to buy a flying turtle. But I thought that all my friends had a flying turtle, and it was so boring. Another thing is an aquarium, so I insisted on my own way. That day, my fish started to argue. They wanted to know if the snail would crawl to the top of the aquarium or slip to the bottom again. I must admit they usually argue about rubbish. I decided not to listen to them anymore and began preparing for school. I ate my breakfast, dressed, put my school bag into the pocket of my school uniform and went to school. Do you think my pockets are so big? Of course not. In my Wonderland, it is possible to make things bigger or smaller. It is much more pleasant to carry my bag in the pocket. So when I went out of my house, I met our children's doctor, Aspirin Vitaminich. I greeted him and asked him where he was going. It turned out that he was sent for a 5-year-old daughter of our neighbours because she had a very serious illness. She did not want to eat ice cream and asked her parents for porridge. I said goodbye to the doctor and hurried to the bus stop because that day I did not want to go on foot, so I decided to get to school by flybus. I saw my familiar lollipop lady, Svetophora Svetoforovna, at the crossroad. She gave a lollipop to those children who crossed the road properly. I took my lollipop, jumped into the flybus, and I was at school 3 minutes later. Elegant Dreams was the first lesson. Our teacher, Harmony Leopoldovna Podushkina, checked up our homework. She asked us to close our eyes and see a dream about a blooming spring meadow after rain. Then she began to explain to us a new theme, the artistry dream on the left side. The second lesson was physical training. Our teacher, Ahalei Mihailevich Cheshirski, did the warm-up with us. At first, the girls sat down on a merry-go-round, and the boys spindled them. Then the girls did the same. Then we took the exam. We jumped on the beds. We all got excellent marks, because there are not any other marks in Wonderland. The third lesson was the lesson of different languages. The teacher, Bormonton Ponimayevich Inyazov, taught us the language of sweetly singing nightcats. It was not a difficult task for such clever pupils, so we managed to learn it for less than a lesson. Yes, we study animals' language at our school. Why are you so surprised? I have already know many of them. That's why I understand what my fish speaks about. We had only 3 lessons in Wonderland, and if we have the 4th lesson, The principal of the school will be punished. You will have to eat porridge with lumps. After school, my friends and I decided to walk along the shore of the Martian Sea. It took up 10 minutes to get there by flybus, and soon we were walking on the orange sand and throwing small stones into the rose water. Then we flew to the Moon Cafe and ate lobsters. I don't know what they were cooked from, but they tasted like fried potatoes. We also drank some Martian cactus juice. I came back home late in the evening. My mother said that the doctor had cured the sick girl. She drank 3 spoons of lemonade every 3 hours. I did my homework, fed my fish, and fell asleep in the armchair. It was a usual day in Wonderland. There was nothing interesting. Great. Thank you so much for that. Wonderful stories, everyone. Well, I'm so glad that you could all join me to listen to the winning entries. There are other age categories in this short story competition that will be announced soon, and the prize winners will know and be notified soon too. So well done everyone for joining in, and well done to the winner and runners-up in the under 12 years category. Sadly, that's all from us this afternoon here in the UK, and whatever time it is with you, thank you ever so much for listening, and goodbye.